So in the last few videos, I think the last 2 videos, and I'll put it up next box to one of the videos that I've been discussing this in. I've been talking about how my little welder here is pulling so much energy at mid-range, I'll explain mid-range in a minute, on one generator that the generator's breaker trips. So this is the breaker here. No, that's the breaker. So with the sticks that I use and the size, I should be able to run, I should run these at 50 amps, 50 to 90 amps. So here when I get it turned on, we'll have it at 50 or 90, or mid-range at 75. And it all depends on the thickness of the metal and how many amps you need, which I don't want to explain all that. That's in the previous videos, and they're not really the focal point of this video. The point is I don't have enough electricity to run mid-range 75 amps on thicker metals with my welding sticks. So I have 3 welding sticks, and the 6013, the 3/32 size, I can strike an arc pretty easy with it. It does really well. But when I get down to the smaller size, I really struggle getting an arc to strike. And with the 6011, oh, it was just a nightmare to run. I mean, I really struggle with this. Now, apparently the 6011 is just harder to run, but it doesn't help when you got a generator may not be producing enough electricity. So I want to do an experiment. I have 2 generators here, which I've talked about in that previous video, and I've just got what's called a paralink. And what that does is tie in both generators to give you double the amps. So running amps, I don't want to get in peak amps and all that, that's in previous video. Running amps is 15 amps. It's actually 16 amps, but that's beside the point. So let's just call it 15 amps. Then if I tie it together, then I'll get 30 amps. So this little paralink will tie that in together. You buy these for your RVs. That's your RV plug there. Well, of course, I got to have an adapter. So I bought an adapter. That'll plug into the paralink, and then I have a 110 outlet right here, a 120 outlet that I can plug my welder into. So I'm going to get these started, and I want to see if we can run some tests. Now the test, what we're going to run is I'm going to run the thin one just to see if I can get an arc to strike easily. That's my goal on that. If not, then I'll just move on. And then after I'm done with that test, we'll be done with the thin one. Then I want to run both the 6013 and the 6011 at medium range, so 75 amps, and then 90 amps on both of them, because 90 is a high end. I know it runs good at 50 amps. That's what these run, 50 to 90. So I know it runs good at 50 even with one generator. So I'm going to do 75 amps, 90 amps, and then I'm just going to max it out just for the heck of it to see if I can run 140 amps, which is what this welder can run. Now I've got the metal that can handle 40 amps. I got a fence post here, or 140 amps I should say. It's 3 amps, or excuse me, 3 millimeters. So at 3 millimeters it can handle 130 amps. So I'll run it at 140 or 130. That way I don't blow a hole in it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get these started. I also want to mention that once I do it on gasoline, I'm going to drain the gasoline out, because that's what I got to do every day. And then I'm going to hook it up to propane and see if it'll run on propane. Currently, I can't use with the one generator on propane, but I might be able to with the paralink. Okay, so now we're going to plug in the adapter. We'll plug in the welder into the adapter, And there we have the welder on. I'm going to turn it up. I'm also going to test it on low also. That way we can see if we have to run it on high or if we can run it on low. So we're going to turn this down to 75, as close as we can get it. I'm going to start with 6013. There shouldn't be any issues. Okay, so that ran perfectly. The generators did run up in speed, so I don't suspect that they're going to run on low. I don't think they'll do it, but that's okay. The generators did handle. Oh yeah, that's nice. That slag popped right off of there just perfectly. That is perfect. Okay, so now we're going to turn it up to 90. That's the high end for this stick. I almost feel like I'm an expert welder now. That is incredible. That is amazing. I mean, I've become a master. There's a little low spot there, but man, I've never welded that good. That is amazing. Okay, so now we're going to try 140. As close as we can get it. Okay, so that tripped the generators. That was too much. That's okay. I'm not that worried about it. I will hardly ever run 140. It's still a beautiful weld. Okay, so now I'm going to try the 6011, which I really struggled with in the past. Okay, so I ran a second bead of 6011 off camera just because I'm not very good with it, and I was able to run a nice bead. It's not too shabby. I got off course a little bit, but I'm still learning with the 6011. Okay, so that leaves us with the 6013 for the thin metal, so the 1/16. This I struggle to just get started. Once I get it started, I do okay. Now, you're supposed to be able to run this 20 to 40 amps. I'm going to try it, but I don't think 40 amps is enough with this welder. I think the welder doesn't register correctly. Okay, so there's 41 amps. Okay, so I am going to try 50 amps now. That was much smoother. So I think that's going to work. I think we've figured it out. Now I'm going to empty the gas out of these, and then we're going to hook it up to propane. Okay, so I'm draining the gas out of it. So what you got to do is you got to take the top off, and you got to open this valve. I'm about ready to overfill the gas can. What's going on there? Well, that's a shut this off. I'll have to put a funnel in there because this is backing up for some reason. Look at that. I guess it's just too full. Okay, so that makes it even more complicated. I have to wait until the other tank is done so I can drain it back into this one. It's just a chore that I don't like. So if I can run this off propane, it'd be much, much, much better. Okay, so they're both hooked up to propane now, and they're both producing power. Now they're both on low. Now I don't know if you can tell the difference, but to me it's a massive difference. When it runs on propane, even on low, it runs faster than it does on gas. So I might, now that I thought about it, be able to run the welder on low. We'll see. The 6013, since I know I can run it now, with the propane. And I'll just go through the different levels, 75, 90, and 110. Now the generator's on low. I'm going to try this. It worked on 75, so now we'll try 90. Remember, the generators are on low, on propane. We're not getting near the power we were with gasoline. Okay, that worked on 90, on low, on propane. We'll go to 110. Okay, on propane, on low, 110, no problem. So, I think I have found the solution to my problem with welding. It was actually a good learning experience. Learning how to weld without enough electricity was terrible. It was hard, really hard. And now I feel like I'm welding like the experts. I'm doing weaves and all those other fancy little things while I was doing that. So, okay, so I think we got it. So if you'll click this up next box, it'll take you a video where I was discussing this portal link. So hope I can inspire you to get through the hard times so you can enjoy the easy times while you're living your dreams. Thanks for watching.